If it is something that I don't need to expense my money on, I literally eradicate that or automate and to ensure it doesn't happen again. That's why I was able to substitute my salary from being broke or just over broke to start making passive income. 4 ways to end being broke and money worries. Look, when I was working as an accountant, I was always looking for my paycheck because I was living paycheck to paycheck. Things were very, very expensive. And I was always worried about money. I'm thinking, what's going to happen next? I can see even my work colleagues literally struggling financially. I remember going out every last Friday of the month, and most of my colleagues literally blow all their salary away, and then in about a couple of days or so they start asking if someone could borrow their money in order to be able to sustain themselves during the month until they get wage or until they get paid. That really was a trigger point for me to say, how long am I going to live this life by waiting paycheck to paycheck in order to pay my bills? So I decided to take a leap of faith and actually take my financial situation into my own hands instead of relying on my employers. So in this video, watch it until the end. I will share with you the exact step I took from being broke to creating a passive income and to creating a generational wealth that will not just help me, it would also help the people after me. So before we get going, if you like this video or any of my videos, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. So to end being broke is not something that you could do instantly, but what you could do instantly is making that decision to end being broke. So these are the 4 main things. Again, if you want to get the benefit of this video, watch until the end so you can learn how you could implement strategies like this to get you to make money working for you instead of you working for money. So the number 1 thing I did basically is to create a budget. So what do I mean by budget? I looked at my expenses to work out what am I spending my money on, and also to work out what are the stuff that I'm spending my money on that I don't need to be spending money on, right? And created my budget to say, okay, this is the amount I need to spend every single month. Whatever is left over, I can find something else to do with. So I created that budget. I did not just create it, I track it as well. I track my expenses. Literally every single month I did the budget. I have it in an Excel column that got every individual month. Okay, every month I literally go onto my expenses, look at it, track it, see what I've expended my money on, and then obviously if there's something that I don't need to expend, if it is something that I don't need to expense my money on, I literally eradicate that or automate and to ensure it doesn't happen again. So what I also do, I start monitoring my income to understand how much money am I making out of the money I'm making, how much am I putting aside, what am I doing with the other side of the income I make. So literally I start tracking it to understand what it is. And then obviously that then helped me prioritize my spending to avoid unnecessary expenses. For example, I used to have lots of subscriptions. I used to have Sky subscription, Now TV subscription, Netflix, Amazon Prime. I used to have all these sort of subscriptions. I realized I only need one of them actually, and I don't even need that one to be honest, especially with the football one. I was always convinced that if I have Sky Sport, I'll be able to watch football at home. But guess what? When I have Sky Sport in my home, I never end up watching the whole football match because I sleep halfway through it, right? And then I realized really I don't really need that. Maybe it's best for me to go to the pub, not just because I'm saving money. And then obviously then I won't be able to sleep because the pub will be so loud and I will enjoy my match better. So obviously I literally monitor that and then obviously eradicate that. The second thing I did is to literally have a vision and create my goal. I literally sat by myself finding out what do I want to achieve in life, right? At what point do I want to achieve that in my life? And what roadmap or footstep, or most importantly, who can I tap into that would help me actually achieve the goals and the vision I have? So obviously I go then looking for that person, right? For that person to help me get me to where I want to go. But what really backs me to go out there and look for that person is by setting gigantic goals. I set massive goals for myself, unbelievable goals that I knew I may not even achieve, okay? But I wanted to do that because that forces me to wake up in the morning actually to make that happen. And then obviously I looked at myself now, I said for the short term, then what can I do to increase my income. So as an accountant, I had a bit of skills there. So what I started to do is to help people self-employed to start doing their tax return. So I had about 4 or 5 people a month that I normally help with on filing their personal tax account by helping them with their self-assessment. So if you're watching this video, you may be thinking, I'm not an accountant, but ask yourself, what value can I add to someone that they will pay me for? Okay, what is that value? So obviously look at it. You may know how to ride a bicycle. Is it okay for you to do maybe Uber delivery or maybe Just Eat delivery for like a couple of hours a week? You know, whatever skill you have, you utilize it and take advantage of it, because what would happen basically, you'll be increasing your income for the short term in order to allow you to do what you want to do in the future. So obviously then that helping assessment becomes a side hustle for me. And then obviously that then helps me save a bit of money as well. Okay. And then the third thing I did was to save money. I don't like to use the word save. I like to use the word store. I store money. I start storing all the additional income I'm making, all the savings I've made from my expenses, cutting back on my expenses and going back to all my bills and renegotiating them. For example, I was with a provider that was charging me for broadband and telephone. They were charging me for about 45 to 50 pounds. I picked the phone up, negotiated with them. I was able to reduce that bill to about 25 pounds a month. So again, I negotiated all the other bills. When I know it worked, I negotiated on all the bills to reduce my expenses down. And what I also did, basically, whatever additional money I have made and saved, I set up a direct debit, an automated direct debit, so I don't need to physically move that money from my expense account. So what I did, I created an account, I set a direct debit from my expense account to my storage account. Some people call it savings, but I call it storage because I don't keep it too long, okay? So I put it into my storage account. So I kept that money. But what I did, one of the magic thing I did, I opened that account. Once I've got the account open, right? I did not download the app for it. Once I've got the card, I've got my bank details, I destroy the card. So I don't really want to see the money where it is, so that I don't get tempted to actually use the money, okay? So I'll just set that direct debit on, and I forgot about it for about 6 months. Money was just going in. And the most important thing I also did, write this down. I made sure I pay myself first before any of the expenses, right? So when I've got my additional income and my salary, I made sure there is a direct debit that goes out immediately after I've received that money. So I get paid first, right? I get paid first before it goes to any other bills, any other expenses, any other thing that I need to pay for. So that's what I did. So that helped me drastically, because I knew then whatever is left over is what I need to live on. And then obviously once I've done that then helps me drastically to have not just emergency funds. I was also able to save a bit more to start to invest for passive income. So you may be thinking then, how can you start investing in passive income, which is the fourth most important part of eradicating being broke and money worries, looking at what you could invest in. Now, there's so many various things that you could invest in, but I wouldn't like you to save money for 6-7 months or maybe 12 months only to go and invest in things that you don't know, like maybe cryptos or stock and shares, which you don't know about. So what I would advise you to do, once you've got that money, whilst you're saving that money, remember at the beginning, is to look for someone who would help you, guide you, right, in order to invest that money smartly, right, cleverly, instead of just getting that money and then literally invest in a bad product or bad services. So what would be the best? Again, this is just an advice. You don't have to take my advice in this. You could look to invest in businesses, for example. Look for a business that is literally struggling cash flow and they need money to help sustain the business. They are profitable, but they're struggling to maintain their cash flow. This could be good businesses to kind of invest in. Or you can invest in gold. By literally buying the gold and then holding on to it Okay, so that way then any money you would have saved would have gone on to gold, and then obviously gold appreciating value as well. Commodities, if you know about commodities as well. But for me, what worked really well for me, right, that gave me passive income without actually being worried, is real estate properties. So what I did basically, I think I had about £3,000 or £4,000 after I got my first rent-to-rent property deal. So basically what I did, whatever money I made, I did not go and buy stock and shares. I did not go and buy cryptos. I did not go and start doing forex. Okay, so what I did basically, I look at real estate because I realized I don't have to buy a property to make money from it. So I went and leased these properties, rented these properties on a guaranteed rent basis, and then in average each properties were making about £500 to about £800 a month. So that was a better return on my investment than investing in gold and commodity, because obviously gold doesn't make you passive income, and commodity also fluctuates, it goes up and down, and there is a lots of risk on that as well, and businesses as well. You don't know if that business is going to go bust in the next couple of months or so. So I realized real estate, like for example, to be specific, rent to rent would be the best strategy for me. So I can get the property, it's real, I can drive past, I can walk past, I can get the tenant myself, I can rent it myself, right, and I can get the money myself. There's no intermediary between me and getting my money. So I realized, to be honest, that was one of the most simplest strategies I could use, that I could understand easily, that nobody would literally brainwash me on it. So once I've educated myself, then I invested in that. So I start making this recurring income, about 700, sometimes 800, 900. And then that's how I started to generate my passive income. And that's why I was able to substitute my salary from being broke or just over broke to start making passive income. I know these are the 4 basic things you could do, but believe you me, if you implement these 4 main points I've just highlighted to you here, it will transform your life. It may be basic to you, or you may have heard it so many times, but it is no good to you if you haven't implemented it. If you're thinking I'm repeating this again, it would have mean that it's because you haven't implemented it. If you'd have implemented this, you would have seen this working. You would be happy right now about me saying things like this because he has implemented. But look at yourself. If you haven't done this before, if you haven't done it yet, try it. It's worth a go. Right, it's worth a go. It's worth a go to learn and understand how these things works. Maybe this is what's going to transform your life. Maybe this is what's going to stop you being worried about money all the time and eradicate you from waiting to get paid every single month. If you like this video or any of my videos, don't forget to hit the like button below. Subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing the next video. Thank you.